I think we have about 30 people joined. I think we can get started. Uh, okay. Thank you everyone for joining, and some of you who have shared their video, some of you who have also are going to present today some of the learnings and highlights. So we really thank you for contributing to the community for the benefit of everyone else. Today we have so we'll try to close this within the hour, but the idea of today's session is it's the demo day, it's the last day, so it'll be great. I think this is like probably one of the last times where I think it's like a community call, but after that you'll have more other different types of services, but you won't be meeting these bunch, maybe not. So it'll be great if you think if you're in a good space, or you have bandwidth, if bandwidth allows you, if you would, it'd be great if you can turn on your videos for a minute. It'll be great to see you all, and then if you can, if bandwidth allows, it'll be great if you can keep your camera on. If not, that's fine. But okay, hello, nice to see everyone. Looking all bright and yeah, beautiful. So um, we have a slightly we'll try to keep the agenda slightly flexible, but the overall agenda is we'll be sharing. So some of you have contributed with the videos. We'll share a quick video. We're going to have some learnings to be shared by 5 organizations who we reached out to and who have very nicely obliged to to share their learnings. We have a bit of open space where if you feel free to just ask questions to each other or any learnings. And then lastly, we just want to close by sharing what comes after this thing. So post the accelerator support, it's been 2 months, and if you remember from the starting, we had thought like we'll have a more dedicated support for 2 months, and then we'll move into how usual NGOs use Cliffic. But that doesn't mean we are not here for support. It's just going to look slightly different. So we'll share what that's like. Cool. So without any further ado, and just to stick with time, I can get started. Um, okay, wrong slide. Okay. Cool. So yeah, some of you who were there in this for the 2 days, it was a really fun 2 days for all of us. Also, we had some good pictures, but yeah, we had 24 of you, 24 organizations join the Chatbot Accelerator. And this was by far like one of the biggest accelerators that we have done. So thank you all for participating and making this successful for everyone involved. Just to kind of reiterate, uh, also, just want to confirm before I go ahead, is I'll be doing a mix of Hindi and English. So मैं हिंदी में बोलने की कोशिश करूंगा if अगर there are, I think we have some participants from Brazil and other places. So if you're not comfortable, just feel free to ask in the chat box and someone will help with the translation. और हिंदी के लिए सेम है, अगर इंग्लिश में हम कुछ ज़्यादा बोल रहे हैं तो प्लीज़ चैट बॉक्स में पूछ लीजिए अगर आपको कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है तो. बट या हमारा मेन पर्पस टू स्टार्ट एक्सेलरेटर वो ये था कि to make experimenting easier. तो experimenting easy करने के दो तरीके हैं. One is to reduce cost. So reducing upfront cost, or like allowing some giving free credits for you to start trying out new things. So that was one pillar, and the second pillar was also like the support जो आपको Glyphic की टीम से मिल रहा था. So in terms of webinars, in terms of direct one-on-one support, um, for in a normal route, we don't provide this much support, but also it's a good we think Glyphic team के पास, since we have worked with a lot of NGOs, there's a good amount of knowledge, and you can by sounding ideas with us, or by collaborating with the Glyphic team on a very specific pilot plan or strategy, or implementing a pilot, we can add a lot of value. So you can share us your feedback whether it was valuable or not. But that was our main idea to start, to provide support so that you can experiment faster and make your experiments more, so you can derive more learnings from doing the pilot. And doing this together as a community, so that now, because if you know there are 24 other NGOs who are doing it along with you in the same journey, in the same boat, you can always reach out to each other for help, knowing that we're all in the same journey, so to speak. So with that was our main purpose, and we hope it was able to serve at least 70 to 80% of the purpose. With that, we'll quickly go ahead, just some numbers. We have 24 NGOs who joined. This was by far the biggest accelerator we did. About 20 are very able to successfully complete pilot. By successfully, we mean complete it, try out an iteration of a chatbot, take it to the users, see how the users are interacting, and take learnings from there, figure out what are the highlights, where do we need to improve, what do we do next, and what else what else are the users finding valuable in the chatbot offering. So that's what we mean by successful pilot. And yeah, a good pilot will also give you lots of learning. So we have a lot of that, and we have 5 NGOs who are going to share, so you'll learn more about that. Um, Overall, more than 300 contacts were reached, like which is within 2 months by separate NGOs. So that's a really good sign, and also like the number of messages exchanged was fairly good. So just some numbers. Numbers don't tell stories as much as we like them to tell. Just want to highlight one story from my, like from our end, before we turn the mic to NGOs and let the cohort share. I found this really interesting, where FIO Foundation, they have a program, AHA, and FIO Foundation, please feel free to jump in and correct me if I'm getting some of it wrong. But some of like one really we all thought as a Glyphic team, it's an interesting use case, or like interesting value of one-on-one connect that you can do at a large scale, is when Fio shared the highlight of how users recognized the value of receiving content on sexual harassment at an individual level, and also ability to personalize exploration into this topic, and being able to learn the content around it. This, as highlighted by the user, it made it easier for the person, or like the who was in the situation, to explore more without being exposed, or being without feeling exposed about their condition, or the situation they were in, and to get absorb as much knowledge as they could, and possibly share in a more private way. So again, like these are just some of the one highlight. Like this, there are 24 different highlights, or like values that have emerged from the users for 24 different orgs. So this is just one example. Today we want to celebrate all of your insights, learnings, some challenges, and the way that you overcome them in the last 2 months. So the main agenda for today is just that. But this is just one example, and there are more such stories. So before we go ahead, I just want to remind you all that this is where we started. If you remember, like one in the presentation, like the starting first thing that we had shared with you when we met to when for the 2 day thing in public in Delhi, was that it's a long journey, and to get a right chatbot, to get the right tone, to get the right character, to get the right messaging, to find the right like within the chatbot, what is the offering that suits your users. It's a long journey, and within 2 months it's good. Like otherwise 2 months pass by and not a lot happens, but within 2 months we feel like this is a great place to be, like how everyone has done some sort of pilot, have learnings. So it's a really good milestone. To acknowledge that milestone and really reflect on the learnings is also a very, very important step. And to be able to then reiterate and redo yeah, and take the next step, next iteration. So that's what we're hoping for. It's a long journey, but it's going to be a fun one if you're all doing this together. So yeah, without further, like I would like to share, we reached out to some of our participants to share some thoughts about. We asked them a few questions, and these are just some thoughts. So please let me know if you can hear the audio when I play the video.
Yeah,
So
it's audible.
yeah, you'll hear from some of the NGOs here on some questions that we asked them. So yeah, feel free to yeah, use the chat box if you have any more questions. Someone will respond, one of our Glyphic team, or if you have a question directed to the audience, to the other peers, please feel.
Our team members and Jalmitras were quite excited to use Jalsarathi, our Glyphic-powered WhatsApp chatbot. The chatbot's user-friendly interface and the ability to engage in Assamese and Hindi were quite well appreciated. Jalmitras also found it quite useful to report bulk flow meter readings from within WhatsApp. They were also thrilled to learn that they could just take a picture instead of manually entering the values of the bulk flow meter readings. The daily reminders were also a boon to them that acted as a daily alarm clock to upload the bulk flow meter readings.
Have two major learnings. One, onboarding process. Our assumptions proved to be wrong while onboarding. We assumed QR code onboarding will be easiest way to do, but the tech savviness of the phone and the technology, the smartphone they are using, the migrant workers using, where most of them were outdated, hence did not have facility to scan QR code. So that was one learning, and the second learning would be user engagement. People tech savvy users, they were able to respond to the bot, but first time smartphone users, they were not able to engage with the bot, not so much.
Experimentation. We realized that to truly create a user-friendly chatbot, we really need to test so that we can create a powerful chatbot which can be extremely useful for ex-inmates.
2 महीनों में हमारे कई इंसाइट्स रहे अपने पायलट को रन करते हुए, लेकिन मैं सिर्फ 2 को हाईलाइट करना चाहूँगी अभी। पहला हमारा जो इंसाइट रहा वो था कि आप किस तरीके से अपने बेनिफिशियरीज़ को ऑनबोर्ड करते हैं। दोस्तों, हमारे पास 2 कोहर्ट थे, एक दिल्ली का कोहर्ट था, एक जयपुर का कोहर्ट था। दिल्ली की कोहर्ट में हम महिलाओं से मिले, उनको चैटबॉट के फ़ायदे बताए, उनको बताया कि चैटबॉट यूज़ कैसे करना है। और जयपुर की कोहर्ट में हमने चैटबॉट का नंबर शेयर किया, उनको वॉइस नोट्स भेजे। तो हमने ये देखा कि दिल्ली का ऑनबोर्डिंग संख्या जयपुर के ऑनबोर्डिंग संख्या से ज़्यादा है। तो कहीं ना कहीं अगर आप फिजिकली महिलाओं से मिल रहे हैं, उनसे बात कर रहे हैं, उनके डाउट्स को क्लियर कर रहे हैं, उन्हें बता रहे हैं कि चैटबॉट किस तरीके से यूज़ करना है, तो ऑनबोर्डिंग के लिए बहुत फ़ायदेमंद सिद्ध हो रहा है। और दूसरा इंसाइट हमारा रहा कि क्या आप अपने बेनिफिशियरीज़ को अच्छे से जानते हैं, तो कितना अच्छे से जानते हैं। दिल्ली में मैंने कई साल काम किया है, दिल्ली की महिलाओं को मैं अच्छे से जानती हूँ, उनके बारे में, उनकी प्रॉब्लम, उनकी दिक्कतों के बारे में जानती हूँ। तो कहीं ना कहीं मेरा जो चैटबॉट था वो दिल्ली की महिलाओं के लिए ज़्यादा था और जयपुर की महिलाओं के लिए कम था।
One of our core learnings from the Accelerator is to have a hawk-eyed view on data that our Jalmitras were reporting every day through bulk flow meter reading pictures, and also data that was generating through the Jalsarathi chatbot on how they were interacting with the WhatsApp chatbot.
lot of scope in terms of integrating this technology in the various programs that we are running at Project Second Chance, especially that a lot of technology leaves this section of population, which is the ex-prisoners. So I think giving them voice and giving them chance in the form of chatbot support in terms of legal aid or job updates via the chatbot could be expanding the scope of technology to this subsection of population, which is often neglected in the mainstream.
As a program, how we see it evolving through the use of this technology, I would say it would be in terms of scale. The massive outreach that we envision this chatbot will enable us to do is something that we are looking forward to. And lastly, if I have to pick one word to share my experience with this accelerator program, I think it would be enlightenment. Given the different perspectives that we got from the team, not just in terms of the technical front, but a lot on the functional side as well, to step into the shoes of our users and think what is benefiting them. That was very helpful to take the right direction while developing them.
My biggest hope with this technology is that we're able to drastically transform the lives and learning for our children, just so that they're able to explore their fullest potential.
Think about the outcome metrics that you want to capture for your end users and make provisions in your chatbot during design and development itself so the bot is able to capture them as your end users engage with the bot.
One tip that I would like to give to a first-time Glyphic user would be to start testing as quickly as possible. Getting in the minds of the users is not as easy as it seems. So instead of perfecting the flows, make smaller flows, start testing them and improve as you go.
Any NGO that's starting out their bot, my biggest recommendation would be to learn more about your user, to identify their needs and to cater to them in the best way possible.
Enriching.
A fun experiment.
It's thrilling.
Evolving.
Yay, awesome. Thank you all so much who contributed. And we want to extend the similar one question, one word that comes to your mind. Before we dive into and before we let the NGOs take over, want to share this this thing. So we would love to know what is that one question that one word that comes to your mind as you think about the accelerator experience that you had. So I'm sharing this in the chat box. Okay, let me see if you let me know if you have gotten it. So yeah, but we would love to know what is the one word that comes to your mind, and then we'll move into the the presentations by the NGOs. Let me know if you are able to access the link and also submit. Okay, we have some responses coming in. Tech made easy. We thank God for someone putting that answer because that's our whole objective, to make technology easy for our NGO partners to use. That's great. Some really interesting reflections, limitless possibilities, community. Someone found it difficult. And as you know, all good things in life cannot come that easy. So it was difficult. Things are good to have, I guess. Yeah, feel free to if anyone wants to if anyone is sharing something, if you see something that you resonate with, if you want to unmute and share. These are really interesting reflections. Thank you all for sharing. Empowering, insightful, I think fun, learning, and easy are standing out to be like the three most shared ones. So I think that's a good indication that we are able to good indication just overall. Intellectually stimulating. Okay. Great. Thank you so much. I had one question though for the person who shared difficult. If you want to, if you want to just unmute and share your thoughts, it'll be great to know. Like what you found difficult. If there was some other, if there's a way to make it slightly more easier. If there's something we can do moving forward, um, it'll be great to hear from you. Okay. No worries. If not, let's quickly go ahead. Since we are slightly running, as the time goes, we should go with the time. We have now presentations by these five NGOs. So we have Red Dot Foundation, KER, Kids Education Revolution, Labhya, Dhriti, and Solzark. We'll go in that order. So we'll pass the mic over to the NGOs, to the POCs from these NGOs. And yes, once again, thank you for sharing. Those of you who have questions to ask for these folks, please use the chat box to type your questions out and post the presentation. The POC can answer the question, or if someone from Glyphic team knows the answer as they have worked with them, they can respond. Yeah. Camilla, you will have the sharing access.
I don't. Hi, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining.
Can you share now, Camilla? Do you have the
Sorry.
share access now?
Yeah. Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, let me know when you can see it.
Yes, we can see it. All right, over
Okay,
to you, Camilla.
Awesome. Give me one moment. The thing is on my, there we go. Okay, so good morning, everyone from Brazil or the other side of the world. I'm super excited to be here, and thank you, Glyphic, especially Gotham, who has been on our side from the Red Dot Foundation side since the beginning of the year. It's really a pleasure to be here with you all. So I was asked to do a really quick presentation, so I'm going to be really fast about our Glyphic Tech4Impact Accelerator experience and our outcome, which was Vera, the Safe City chatbot assistant. So before I dive into that, I just want to give just a ground on what do we do. So we are currently two organizations, Red Dot Foundation based in India, Red Dot Foundation Global based in the USA, and we both use Safe City as a tool to collect narratives, anonymous narratives of survivors of gender-based violence, in which we collect that information through structured data, are able to analyze it, and then provide to stakeholders such as government officials, law enforcement, actionable insights to make public and private spaces safer for these survivors. And for the survivor themselves, we give them resources, legal resources, safety tips, as well as some other resources for themselves to be improving their own safety. One of them is a map where they can look into zoom into street level to see areas that are safe and unsafe in their neighborhood, cities, etc. So with that context, I'm going to talk about Vera, our Safe City chatbot assistant. So the objective of the pilot. So Vera always were in our minds a complement to the Safe City app. A way to provide the survivor a new way to share their story with a more human touch and specialized resources based on the conversation. We hosted several focus groups, and we understood that for the survivor, sometimes it was hard to have to download the app. It was hard to find these spaces. So Vera was a way to make that sharing of narratives easier, in a way to also be friendly, be a friendly support system, and also be a way to enhance data collection. So on Safe City app, we ask the user to share a story. On Vera, we're also giving them resources And to give them the resources, we also collect some information in terms of their safety, and that also enhances our way to and ability to understand what's happening on the local level. We understand that many survivors don't want to share a specific story, but they do feel unsafe in public and private spaces. And that was a way to also collect that information. I'm gonna go really fast on these. Some pilot stats. Since the launch, we have exchanged around 2,200 messages. Users have gone to 224 flows, and 82 contacts have been using Vera since the launch. And in other color are both of our KPIs that we put for ourselves for the Chatbot Accelerator, which was that 66% of users have found the bot an easier way to share their experiences of sexual violence, and 60% said that they highly recommend Vera to their friends and family. So a huge success for us. I see that I'm running out of time, so I'm just gonna go really fast and then I can share this with you. Here on the right, there is a quick video on just our launch video in which we presented Vera to the world. That's yet to be published on social media. We're doing the final testing. We really want to make sure that everything is good. But what we found from the beta testing was that a lot of people said that Vera was really easy to use. And it felt like talking to a human, which was different than the Safe City app, in which it was just a lot of questioning. And then here we're able to integrate friendly messaging and also, encouraging text to make the user feel more welcome, more warm. And for our ground workers, which was one of the most amazing things, is that they said that it really helped them in their own activity on the ground with communities because it is more accessible to survivors. It takes less data, for example. And one of the aha moments in a different color was being able to integrate AI for resources as a way to support the survivors with a more personalized resource after they share their stories. And next steps for Vera, we're finalizing the work with AI integration for resources. That should be done hopefully by the end of this week or today. And also we are looking on a more longer term to work with the entertainment industry. So we want Vera to be the space where people can get safety tips before they go to a concert, for example, a soccer match, a cricket match. And then after the event, we can reach out to those people and then ask them how did their experience go, if they felt safe, they felt unsafe, and what was their experience in general. So that gets us closer to the user as well in a simple way and through a mechanism that everyone knows, which is WhatsApp. So yeah, that's it for me. I just have a huge thank you for the whole Glyphic team for being supportive with me on the other side of the world. I know that I'm over time, so I'll stop for now. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Camille. And yeah, like for one is keeping it within time, but also like sharing really, really good insight into your work. Maybe if you have any questions for Camilla, please feel free to use the chat box. And Camilla, you can maybe respond to the questions in the chat box, and that way, moving forward, we can. Okay. Yeah, congratulations, and yeah, we hope you can continue this journey, and loads of success to you. We'll have Shivani sharing rights. You have. Okay. Yeah, over to you, Shivani.
Thank you. Can I have screen share, please? Yeah. Okay, just give me one sec. Okay. Thank you so much, Camille. It was so nice sharing everything you had to share. Hi, my name is Shivani. I work with the Kids Education Revolution team at Teach4India, and the product that we're developing in partnership with Glyphic is called KR School. And the idea is really just to build a self-paced digital learning experience for children. As of now, we're aiming to reach children in India, but hopefully one day we hope that children anywhere in the world can access this opportunity. But really just an experience for them to grow on 21st century skills, which we call the 8 Cs. I'll put it in the chat right after sharing. And through this experience, as they grow on these 8 Cs, we want them to take micro actions towards building a better world. So really just how do we use WhatsApp as a mechanism for them to act as change makers and build a better world? In terms of what we really wanted to assess through this pilot, it's just effectiveness of the content, right? So does the content work? Are children liking it? How extensive does it need to be? Because we're looking at developing like full-fledged learning experiences through this product. The ability of children to navigate such experiences, right? Like self-paced learning experience is a very new area of work, even for adults. And so what does it look like when we hand that over to children, and what's their ability to engage with that like? And lastly, and I think most importantly, is like, what do we need to do to nudge the desired behavior, right? So what kind of triggers, reminders, follow-ups do we need to keep sending out as we're trying to build that habit and that sort of practice in children? As we launched our pilot, we launched 2 missions under 2 big sort of areas of challenge that we see in the world. First mission was called Sustainability Superstar. Second was called Stereotype Smashers. Each was an independent learning experience with 3 levels in them. And these are sort of the goals we wanted to get to. So we wanted to see how many users we can retain, what's the completion rate looking like, what's the response rate to these different nudges looking like, and are they finding the content engaging, and are they able to learn independently on WhatsApp? We also reached out to a very, very diverse group to be able to learn, because again, children from different areas and geographical locations come with very different levels of readiness and context. So we currently have 53 students in our pilot. We're working with 8 organizations, including Teach for India, and we're touching close to 12 cities across the country, including remote places like Nanak Mata in Uttarakhand, Pulwama in Kashmir, Hutup in Ranchi. So we're trying to really get as much diversity as we can to also see like what does access, opportunity, and language play a role as we try to see how children learn. And we have children from grade 6 to 9 who are part of this pilot as of now. In terms of where our users are, we've currently developed 4 long flows, and we're seeing that most of them are at the welcome stage and they're slowly progressing as time moves forward. As of now, 32% of our users have completed 50% of their journey so far. So they still have a long way to go. And after this, we're also developing other levels and missions that they can engage with as they continue on this journey. But our goal is to have as many of them sort of go through the 2 missions that we have over the next few months. We rolled out a quick survey just to see how users are feeling about the product so far. And here's what the data said. Most of them do feel that WhatsApp is an easy and effective way to learn, while a few of them were unsure or disagreed. And then all 100% said that the content was engaging and fun. We also spent some time actually over the past 2 weeks in Delhi, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, and Bangalore conducting on-ground observation, speaking to children to see what enabled their learning, what challenges did they face, and really how's their experience been so far. So we conducted small focus group discussions. We also told them to use the product live in front of us and did a bit of a think aloud to see what sort of decisions are they making and what are the different factors that influence their experience. So these are just some stills from that. And these are just 4 big things that we learned from our on-ground observations, right? One is that children come in with very different levels of readiness. And so language, access to technology are all barriers that we need to find our way around, which we're still thinking about. The second one was that children love badges and points. So we set up a whole like leaderboard system where every time children engage with something, they got a badge. This is actually one of the badges that we're using. So if they showed courage as a value, then they got this Brave for a Better World badge. And we had a lot of different badges that they kept earning. And that was something that the children really appreciated. Surprisingly, we also learned that everyone does not love videos. So our assumption was that, okay, kids will love seeing a bunch of different videos. So we try to source them from YouTube, etc. But kids had very, very mixed responses to that, which we're still navigating around and thinking of what are other like media forms that we need to use to enable that engagement. And I think one big shift that we're thinking about is how we just have quick, consistent, low stakes, high reward learning versus like a full-fledged learning experience. So we tell them like, you come in for 10 minutes a day and you do this one challenge and get this one badge and you feel really, really successful, and how that sort of compounds over time versus saying you do this one long level and at the end of it you will get one reward and one trophy. So I think that's a big shift that we're thinking of making in terms of what our content looks like. Over and above that, I think just large reflections that we've had is that this is a very, very new, sorry, this is a very, very new way of learning, not just for children, but also us. So it's a big mindset shift for us to make as well as to how do you design for such kind of learning. User behavior has been very unpredictable, as is with children. I think just their curiosity, the kind of questions that they ask, and the kind of factors that influence sort of how they might respond to certain situations is something that we're still really learning about. Another big challenge that we have faced is just timely nudging and manual tracking, because it's something we're doing ourselves at the back end. We're seeing student engagement hours are usually like 6 to 9 in the evening or on a Saturday or Sunday. So for us as a very like small and lean team, how do we balance that really timely nudging within that very scary 24-hour window is something that we're just trying to figure a way around. And while we're doing that, also just balancing multiple priorities for our team as well, because we're also a team that works across many different verticals. But our hope is with all these learnings over the next quarter, we want to scale our pilot to 50 more children so that we have a lot more concrete learnings and also have that diversity in terms of age, readiness, etc. Review and revise our content. So really think about how we want to go with the short form content. How do we make it just more hands-on, more fun? And build stronger systems for consistent backend tracking, because that's a big area of feedback that even children gave us that, okay, I didn't like it when you all didn't respond to me, and things like that. So I think we're just trying to see how internally we can set much stronger systems for more consistent experience for kids. But yeah, that's about it from me. Thank you all so much for listening in. Thanks.
The diversity you have reached is really, really appreciable. Yeah, Shivani, thank you so much for sharing. And I think there's a question for you. But yeah, excellent work, really. Thank you for sharing also. Really, really nicely crafted PPT. Over to, yeah, Lapya. Gayatri, do you have the sharing rights?
Perfect. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Today, I, Gayatri, and my colleague Ashwini will be presenting our journey so far with the Tech4Impact Chatbot Accelerator. Before I begin, I would like to quickly also introduce what we do at Labhya. So, Labhya is an education nonprofit, and we work on institutionalizing social emotional learning curriculum into the government school system. How we do this is by partnering with the government schools, with the state governments, and ensuring that we support them in creating a social emotional learning curriculum for the respective states, and also then supporting with the capacity building of the teachers and helping with the overall implementation of the program. Now, for the accelerator, our objective was to figure out if there's a better way we can work on collecting data. So far we had been using standard traditional tools like Google Forms for data collection, but we wanted to figure out if there's a way we can make the whole process more efficient and also easier for our team members on the field, because they have to go every day to the schools and get data around dosage and delivery, right? So how to make it less tedious. And as Tejas mentioned earlier, we were just experimenting if chatbot is a good way to do that. So that was the whole objective of the pilot. In the month of August, we started small. We onboarded around 30 team members of ours. And we wanted to just understand if this is even working. This as a platform is working for them. Are they finding it easier to navigate this? Are they having any troubles entering data, or are there any glitches? So August was just around that, to understand if this is the right way to go forward with data collection. So 30 users were going to schools daily, and we were covering around 45 to 50 schools in the state of Tripura. Then we based on the feedback that we received from them, in September, we decided to scale it further and we onboarded 100 users, 100 team members to the platform. We also then incorporated all the feedbacks that they had initially shared around, they wanted one or two additional features. So we included that in the second phase. We also included the option of entering the data in Bengali because some of the users were more comfortable in that. So September was more around incorporating all the feedbacks that we received and to see if it's working as well at scale, right? These are some of the features that we included to make the whole thing more engaging and interactive. So onboarding was quite simple. We shared the number with our team members, and then so this here is Jovi. They're our mascot for the program. So we try to use Jovi a lot to make it more interactive, the whole conversation more interactive. And there isn't much that you can do with the overall WhatsApp UI. So we were thinking, how can we make it a little more engaging, a little more interesting? So we use stickers of Jovi. This is another feedback that we got from the Glyphic team earlier. Don't send images because then they'll have to download all the images and then it will become difficult for the members. So we started using stickers to ensure that it's the chat look more colorful and more engaging. We tried to introduce standardization. For example, they have to go to schools and input the block name, district name, etc. So we provided the options through a list so that everyone's not inputting different spellings. We gave the option of choosing their own language, the preferred language that they would want to use to communicate. For some of the information that was critical, we ensured that there was a confirmation option that was given to them so that because sometimes they might make mistakes while typing quickly. So there was a confirmation option that was provided to them as well. And the onboarding was done through both in-person and virtual sessions. So this is the way we managed user engagement and user onboarding on the platform. And over to Ashwini to share what the users said, some of the feedbacks and insights that we got. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Gayatri. So when we post the pilot, we took feedback and we also had like an in-depth conversation with our users to actually gauge the challenges and their preferences. So we found that all our users who were onboarded found data collection process to be, easier through a bot. It was less time consuming, where the time was actually reduced from 10 minutes to around 3 to 5 minutes, which is like a great thing for the organization. And they also found it more engaging. With more engaging, they meant that they felt that nobody is monitoring them and they were actually talking to Jovi. So the entire feeling of, okay, this data is going somewhere and this is going to be analyzed and probably I would be judged on this data, I think the WhatsApp bot actually took that feeling away from the users and they were really happy to actually use this bot. Another was that because WhatsApp has such deep penetration into our daily lives, right? They didn't feel it as another task or a burden to do this ki अरे हाँ 10 minute 10 observations करे हैं तो ये मुझे data भरना ही है. Also, it was like very time friendly, so they could fill it after the observation anytime when they had the time, while commuting, while transiting, even in areas where there was low network, it worked. So it was really user friendly for our users. Another one was that our users could actually go back to the previous data that they had entered for a previous observation, and they could refer it to support the teachers much better. So I think overall it was like a really happy feeling that the users got through our WhatsApp. Gayatri, next. Okay, thank you. So as an organization, I think we're really excited to add or enhance our bot further based on the feedback that we would now receive from the September pilot as well. Our hope is to again scale this to a few pilot districts. Currently, we were looking at 100 schools, but now we also aim to onboard teachers on the platform apart from our field team members. So that's something that we are really excited about. And another thing that we're currently exploring is to integrate LLM and AI into our WhatsApp bot to make content dissemination and make the content more accessible to students and our users. Great, thank you. I'd also like to take 30 seconds to just thank KP and Priyesh for supporting us in, enhancing our bot very frequently. I think they have been really helpful in this process. Thank you, guys.
Amazing, amazing. from like going from 30 to 100 users in less than 2 months. So that's really fast progress. Good job, and thank you for sharing all your learnings. We have now Dhriti. So Saloni, you'll share.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sharing. Yeah. Hi everyone, this is Saloni from Dhriti. So very quickly just sharing about Dhriti. So Dhriti's, I'm audible, right? 5:15. What is your
Yes, yes, Saloni, you're audible.
Yeah. Yeah. So Dhriti's aim is to build and seed and support a lot of entrepreneurs at hyper-local level. So this chatbot, which is called Udhyami Sathi, as you can see, which is like a digital assistant for women micro-entrepreneurs, was meant for our women micro-entrepreneurs, which run very small nano businesses like stitching, food parlors, etc., in two cities, which was Delhi and Jaipur. And we just wanted to sort of work with them to ensure that they build this habit of updating their accounts daily, which sounds very small, but honestly, when you're working with nano and micro entrepreneurs, we realized that the biggest challenge was to just ensure that they at least mentally start noting that what did I incur as expenses in my personal and in my business separately, which doesn't happen, which we have been seeing for past 5-6 years now. So the chatbot was like an experiment. We wanted to see if the women will prefer the chatbot over personal calls that we usually make to them every day. And will the chatbot be able to sort of nudge them into building that habit of, oh, now I have noticed what were my expenses of today, income of today, and so on. So for Udhyami Sathi, what we did was, of course, account updation was one of the key features, but we also ensured that they know something as small as what were the, where and when a workshop is happening. There was some inspirational quotes that we added as features, and we wanted to keep this pilot very simple and not add a lot of features, as also was sort of, Glyphic team also suggested that do not make the pilot very complicated. And I think that worked very well for us. So the objective of the pilot, as I shared, was just to ensure, just to see if chatbot will work for this purpose. We wanted to onboard 50 women to begin with, because these women come from very different backgrounds, and we knew if we take more, then it will be very difficult for us to understand if it's working or not. And we wanted to see if at least out of active users, at least 70% of the women find it easy to put in these records that they do every day on the chatbot, and if at least 20% feel that it's adding value, because we have felt that even in our one-to-one calls, it was a challenge. So we were very conservative in our assumption that chatbot might be challenging for them, but we still went ahead and did it. And the responses were very encouraging, and we realized that at least 50% of the women who have been using it actively every week, and around 35 to 40% of women have been using it up until now, which is like 2 months. And if a reminder doesn't go one of the days, then we actually get a call asking that, why did we not get a reminder. And almost every WMP we have talked to, which is women micro entrepreneur, have also said as part of our feedback round that they have found a lot of value in just updating the records, and also had suggestions and ideas on what else they want on the chatbot. So it actually came in as a demand and not just like an idea that aap ye please kar dijiye, but aap ye aapko karna hai, and even we might sort of come and help co-create this kind of a thing. So these were some of the onboarding things that we used. And as Razia had shared in the video that Tejas had showed, it was very interesting because in Jaipur and in Delhi, we onboarded women very differently. In Jaipur, due to some technical glitches and so on, we had to do a very rush process where they just got to understand ki, theek hai, aise, you go through the chatbot, you see you sort of just say hi and so on. And in Jaipur, we see that the women are not engaging a lot. But in Delhi, we ensured that the space was very fun. They understood why it's important. They could share with us their issues in daily life around account management. And it ended up great, because they are the women that are mostly using the chatbot. And if there were women who couldn't really update, get onboarded, then our team went one-on-one and ensured that the onboarding happened. there was some feedback from the users, which was very encouraging again. And they shared that just adding my accounts daily on the chat ensured that I mentally note what my incomes and expenses are, which for a micro entrepreneur is a big thing. Almost every one of them said it's easy to use. They also said that because they knew that our team can see their accounts, they could sort of go ahead, and they knew that my mentor will just a second, just 5 minutes. That they knew that my mentor will call me and sort of just ensure that if there is a loss that has been incurring for 5 days regularly, then there will be like an alarm bell at our team's end. That was great. And there's also very interesting thing that some women also said that because of this chatbot, I now know how to use WhatsApp more, or how to sort of work around my mobile more, which initially, because I didn't really have a reason to, I didn't use it a lot. Some of the aha moments and learnings were again very interesting. There was a woman who literally said that if I don't use a chatbot or don't update my records, I actually feel strange. And that was a big thing. And some women even said that, I like playing around the chatbot, like how sometimes when we use GPT, for example, we like to challenge it, right? So it felt like some women loved doing that, just not saying that, no, I don't need anything, but instead kept the flow going on and on and on. So some of the learnings were just this, how onboarding happens have a huge impact on how users engage. If users find a platform helpful, we found that if we have a space that's welcoming and we invite them to share their ideas, they will know exactly what else they need as well. So as a team, our effort also went into ensure that the women know that they can come to us with feedback and share that, okay, this is what I need. They shared a lot with us, and now our next step is to also ensure we sort of incorporate that in our chatbot. And allowing users to respond via multiple options was a big one, because in Jaipur and in Delhi, there were different kind of needs that were there. Some unexpected outcomes was, again, honestly, in this pilot's time, we didn't expect it to become a habit. We thought it will be like a long-termish goal. But the kind of feedback that we received, like I said, some women even said it felt strange not to do it. And that's a very big behavioral shift, which we didn't expect to happen. So that was a great one. And the second one was, we did invite women to sort of come and co-create this chatbot with us, which actually worked well. But we also thought that, these women have a lot of responsibility. So it might not, let's not burden them a lot by making it like a proper thing. But they came ahead and said, we would love to do it if you can teach us how to do it. So that's that. And just we would love to make this current chatbot more sophisticated, integrate LLM and AI in it. We were also planning to now create another chatbot for another group that we work with, youth in the Northeast, and just see how chatbot actually as a way how can we actually continue to be in connect with communities beyond the project, because in the kind of projects we do, they are very time bound, but this allowed us to not just leave the beneficiaries and the communities once the project ends. And also, I think one of the great things that happened is it helped us build a case for Glyphic and chatbots within Dhriti, and get the team invested in it and say, okay, I also want to learn, and can we sort of build that capacity across the organization. So yeah, just that's it. And thank you so much to Gautam and the whole Glyphic team for helping us through it. When we started, as I said, we had a lot of assumptions. We didn't know if we could do it, but I think a lot of support has been given, and it worked out great.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing and consolidating all your learnings. And yeah, going uh, all out with all your effort. Yeah, just in interest of time, we have one more presentation to Solzak, and to accommodate for I think if you're okay, we'll extend by maybe 5 to 6 minutes more beyond 5 o'clock, because we would like to have like one tiny space before we close it, and before the next space. So yeah, Krishna, if you can give presenting rights to Harshvi. Okay, yeah, Harshvi, over to you.
Already have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll extend by 5 minutes more. Sorry for the inconvenience, but it'll be great if you all can stay. Thank you so much. Yeah, over to you, Harshvi.
Hi, very good evening, everyone. Thank you so much to all the organizations who presented so far. It was great to hear all your learnings and experiences so far with Clipping, and completely resonate with a lot of the things that you all shared. Thank you so much. I will now quickly move forward with a little bit about what Solzak as an organization does. So we've been working in the space of inclusion for the last 20 years. We work primarily in the space of education, employment and livelihood generation. And most of our work has been with state governments. We collaborate and we set missions with state governments and also a lot of NGOs, especially in the space of education. So as our vision is, every child learns and every adult earns. So we focus on reaching out to the extreme vulnerable communities and groups of people while we are focusing on inclusion. So that's a little bit about our organization. And moving forward with the pilot, uh, just also wanted to bring about the problem statement of why we decided to create a chatbot. So the chatbot is actually one of our tools and a part of one of our solutions that we work on for inclusive education. We intended to see whether this tool really makes sense when it comes to teachers actually using it on ground, and especially when it comes to government schools in rural communities and things like that. So the story here just talks a little bit about how a teacher in a classroom has hundreds of issues and challenges that the teacher has to deal with on a day-on-day basis, and is often very little time at hand and a very little way in which she can probably maneuver and move around with what exactly is the best way to support every child with the different kind of needs and challenges that the child goes about with. And often teachers are left helpless and overwhelmed. So what if there is something that we can propose to teachers to use in real time to sort of help them navigate through these breakdowns and challenges? So with that, the objective of our pilot was again simply to assess whether this chatbot would really make sense in helping teachers deal with the challenges in real time in classroom. So with this, as I mentioned earlier, we have worked with different NGOs. We don't directly work with teachers at school. So we reached out to a couple of organizations, and as a part of the first phase of our pilot, we had three organizations who were a part of it. It was a voluntary based participation, and with a set of 30 teachers, we started off with initial rounds of focus group discussions where we also understood from the teachers what are their challenges, what are some challenges in real time that they face where they experience breakdowns, and how do they need support for that. So we understood a lot from the teachers in terms of what is it that would really help, what kind of support is that that they need. So based on that, we conducted these FGDs and we sort of incorporated those inputs while we were developing the chatbot. So the chatbot for us focuses on two areas. One is sharing information about the disability related pieces, which is understanding certain risks of disability. So the chatbot helps the teacher to observe a child, and also based on these observations, the chatbot being driven by AI, it can feed in information from the knowledge pieces at the backend and suggest the possible risks that the child may be experiencing, and then suggest what are some next steps for the teachers to take in terms of if a child is identified at a risk of a certain disability. And beyond that, the most important thing that the teachers also were looking for as a solution is how to support the diverse learners in the classroom. There are diverse set of challenges. So how do these classroom challenges be catered in real time with bite-sized information that is very practical and very actionable, is where the other element of the chatbot lies. So this is just how our chatbot looks like. These are some key topics and areas on which the information is provided to the teachers in terms of getting a UDID card, disability certificate, looking out for therapeutic support, assistive technology, and things like that. And for classroom related challenges, it majorly focuses on addressing the behavior breakdowns, learning challenges, and classroom management strategies. So these are some of the key areas which get covered in our chatbot. Moving forward, in terms of the feedback that we received so far with the teachers that we interacted with, and also in terms of the pilot that we did internally. So we have a team of curriculum developers and teachers within our organization as well. So the overall feedback we received in terms of the chatbot and the flow that was really working is the information was quite helpful to understand at the initial level for the teachers what is it that they can do in the moment. So that was a really positive feedback that we received. And beyond that, in terms of how the chatbot can really be improvised. There are certain messages and certain things that were following out of context because the chatbot is driven by AI. So that was one of the challenges, a major challenge that we noticed, and that's something that we are working on actively in the next phase. One of our aha moments and learnings at the same time was also dealing with the OpenAI playground. I think we were one of the organizations who really wanted to incorporate the AI feature right from the beginning. And we put in a lot of time and effort into getting those prompts correct, and just iterating a lot of our trials and errors went into, making the response to be more accurate based on the information that was provided at the backend. And it was also supposed to be made consumable for the teachers, very easy to understand. So a lot of our efforts went there, but it was a great learning experience. And the way we have been able to crack that is really amazing. And also just how the Glyphic platform works. I think our learning and our aha moment, especially there, was that, the fixes that we could do in the moment were really quick. We were able to navigate through the platform very easily with very minimal support needed. So that was a great learning experience for us. And the bot, we could keep on making changes to the bot in the moment as well. So it was a great one. Yeah. So lastly, in terms of the next steps, what we are looking at the chatbot to do moving forward is also help in building the capacity of the internal team. As I mentioned, we do have teachers, vocational trainers. So we would really want our internal team to try using this and build information pieces and just get an orientation of how even the support for disability works. Beyond that, as we are also working with different state governments, and we have an application which has been integrated as a part of the state government projects. So we also anticipate the chatbot to be integrated as a part of the government partnerships moving forward. And lastly, we have also been talking to an international platform called Understood, which is an organization which creates resources for learning and thinking differences and addressing the diverse needs of children and learners. So we really want to, sort of collaborate with them and integrate the global knowledge that they have into the localized contextual manner of information that we've been sharing with the teachers through the chatbot. So that's another thing that we are looking forward to as we move ahead and we progress on the chatbot. So yeah, that's all in terms of the first phase of the pilot that we've been able to, capture. And it's been a great learning experience. Thanks to the entire team at Pacific to support us with all our calls and brainstorming sessions as well. It was really helpful. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, everyone, for waiting.
Thank you, Arshvi. Thanks so much. Really interesting use of AI. If anyone wants to know more, please connect with them. Yeah, now I pass it on to Gautam.
Thanks. It was quite engrossing. I don't think I really noticed time going today. I'm usually the stickler for time. You will see me, there's a photo of me looking at my watch. But today I just forgot to do that. Just mind-blowing to listen to your presentations. And I'm sure there are more who have such valuable insights to share today. But let's listen to the other side, since this is supposed to be a closure and a celebration of sorts. I'm just going to randomly tag 3, 4 people with just one simple question, right? All of you, please pay attention. I will not repeat the question. The question is, what is one aha or something which made you feel wow as you were listening to all the presenters today? Right? I will just randomly tag people. First person I'm going to pull is a good friend, Amisha. Ishan has already shared. Ishan, in fact, since you're shared, why don't you just unmute and share in one sentence?
Sure. I mean, I didn't know like there were so many possibilities with the chatbot, to be honest.
One sentence over. I'll give you one more.
No, yeah, that's it. Like, I really enjoyed listening to everyone's experience here. So, great job to everyone and also the Glyphic team.
Thanks, Ishan. I will now tag Pratyay. You are on mute, so you are misusing your one sentence.
Oh, your mic is somehow not connected, I think. Okay, yeah.
Okay, Pratyay, till your technical issues are sorted, I am going to tag somebody else.
Your time is running out.
Priyesh. Okay, take. Actually, let me tag someone from the goalkeep team. Tanya. Is Tanya there? Yeah, Tanya Singh. Tanya, any, just one line.
Hi everyone. So it was amazing webinar, like how everyone is utilizing chatbot. So I really, it's a very thoughtful situation that how different NGOs are using it, utilizing it. So I came to know about that today.
Thank you, Tanya. Since there are a lot of people here who couldn't present, I will just speak for them. Some really amazing work they have done in 2 months. They have learned how to use a bot from scratch. They have worked with different people, peers, mentors, community, and they've done a really amazing job. Numbers do not matter. They're good, right? They do show depth of work, but the learnings they have is amazing, right? I really wish there was more time, but since there's not much more time, and Krishna is smiling, I will hand it over to Krishna.
Thanks, GP. Cool. I'm just going to close with like very quick. I wouldn't say next steps, but like what next? Okay. So as you all have already started using Discord and support our calls, so we just encourage because like now the office hour calls wouldn't be happening from this week onwards. So we would highly encourage you to use Discord and support our call as much as possible. Support our calls happens every Tuesday and Discord is always there. Having said that, it's not like, hey, now we are done and we are out of the picture. We'll always be around in case you need something. You can write to us. Like Discord would be your first line of communication that will like where team can pick other, like we can, anybody from the team can actually answer you and support you. So that's much more quicker than us, but we will also be around. So please feel free to reach out wherever you have more questions, wherever you need extra support. And documentation, this is something that we have been trying to encourage all of you to start using even before Discord and support are like documentation will answer most of your questions. So there's like a right search button on your documentation. The documentation is linked in your Glyphic like Glyphic platform as resources. So please try to see it, like that will help you to self-learn and like get your answers much faster. That's one. Like for the past 2 months, you have been having few webinars where like we conducted these webinars specifically for Accelerator NGOs. The reason being like there are certain topics which we felt are very important in the first 2 months. Now we will be having it like you would be invited for more level up with graphic webinars. That's a webinar that happens every month on different topics, which it can range from the new features that are coming out, or we bring in experts in different, like probably on user engagement, data, different things which are of important things, and like the idea is to level up you with Glyphic. And like Level Up is a monthly online webinar that's conducted. We also do conduct sprints. So sprint is a space where we invite all the NGOs to connect with each other in person, share their learnings, work with the Glyphic team in person, where you can share your challenges. We can work together with you to solve some of your challenges. So the last sprint which happened was in January, where we had 15 NGOs who came together and shared their learnings. And we have also city meetups, which we invited some of you already. So we have city meetups and sprints happening regularly every 6 months, every 5 months. So please keep a tab on our newsletters, which will be sending to you over email or Glyphic community channel on WhatsApp, so that you can utilize the spaces. Again, Glyphic is not just about the platform, but it's about the community that you get. So please leverage it as much as possible. Stay connected, stay like learn from each other. Yeah, onwards and upwards. Thank you, Tejas.
Cool. Thank you so much. I think this is the end for today. So yeah, feel free to drop off. Feel free to stay on and chat with us. We'll be here for for some time more. But yeah, this is it. If you have anything else to share, otherwise you're free to drop off. Thank you all so much.
You should say it like Bugs Bunny. That's all, folks. That's what he says, right?